Yeah, man. And I kind of hate the mailman now because he really doesn't like my dogs. And I don't know why, but now I hate him.
Yeah, I kind of don't like my mailman never makes any attempt to like make peace with Robert. Like he doesn't like Robert. Robert doesn't like him. He's probably a serial killer, and Robert's protecting me. So
I always wonder how dogs know to hate the mailman.
I don't know. It's just in their DNA.
It's just hate, like
just a pure hate.
Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about scary things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle.
All right, Michelle, energy up, and then we'll bring it down. Today we are going to Leprechaunia, which is...
What? That's not a word, but okay.
Oh, man. So I make references to this article that I couldn't find anymore. I think Maddie helped with the research. I know we have the research somewhere. So if anybody needs it, I could provide it. It's there. It's in a file. In 2020, there was this article, right? And it talked about this peculiar sighting about leprechauns. There's two teenage girls and their younger brother. They were out walking in a place called Cratloe or Cratloe. Cratloe. Cratloe Woods in County Clare in Ireland.
I love the themed element we're doing since I'll be in Ireland in a bit. This is good.
They were out with their dog in an area near Limerick when they had a strange encounter. Mary O'Neill said, quote,
Mary O'Neill said, oh no, I can't even. I don't know what that was.
That was like was that British?
Yeah, it went too British. It went too British. They'd get so offended. Hi, to. That's from The Simpsons. It's the going, hi, to, when they do a leprechaun.
Do they have like an accent, like an Irish accent, or from somewhere?
What,
like
the leprechauns?
Leprechauns?
Yeah, I would assume because they're from Ireland, right?
Does the Lucky Charms guy also have an accent? He does?
Yeah. They're magically delicious.
I used to like Lucky Charms, but I remember my parents would not let me eat it. Like, it was just...
It's all sugar. It's like a dessert. That's right, kids. Cereal's a dessert, technically, when you're an adult.
Enjoy. So anyway, Mary O'Neill said, quote, we were out walking Gypsy, our golden retriever, when we came across this tiny little man. He was no more than 3 feet tall, with a big, long beard, and he was sitting on a small stone step while mending a pair of shoes.
This sounds like the most Irish tale I've ever heard. Was he dressed in green too? Were there sheep there? God.
Next to a patch of 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, in a rainbow in the background.
And he has, and it's a red beard and he has red hair. Don't forget that.
Anyway, she described him as being dressed in a top hat and knee-length breeches, along with shiny, brogues on his feet. As soon as he saw them, he ran away saying, you'll not... God, you should say this part.
Okay,
here, I'm going to message it to you.
Okay.
And then you say it.
Okay.
And it's going to be right there.
Oh, you'll not give me gold, so you won't.
And then he disappeared.
Oh, okay.
Like, at first I thought, like, what is this? Like, this seriously, like, this is news? Like, wow. From the Irish College of Folkloristics, Professor David Murphy brought some expertise regarding this leprechaun sighting and said that more and more leprechaun sightings have been reported, even though they have been considered extinct for a long time.
Wow, I love this. This is great. This is there's been okay. I have so many questions, but anyway, continue.
This is the part where I took a hard pause and just took a deeper look into these creatures and where they come from. So first, the first part, right? What they actually are. Physically, they are said to be 2 to 3 feet tall, and they live in tiny caves underground or inside hollow tree trunks. A famous part of Irish lore. Leprechauns are known to be a type of a fairy, or as you call them, elemental, right? An elemental.
Yeah, elementals. Yeah, a fae. Elementals. People are very into the fae.
Yeah, and these stories started being told as early as the 8th century, maybe before that. Like, their name comes from the word lucorpan, which means small body.
Huh.
Cool fun fact there. When they are illustrated, they look like shoemakers, cobblers, and that's what their profession is supposed to be.
Is it really? Well, why? Really? That's what they do for a living? Because they seem to just. Why are they guarding gold all the time?
I mean, it's cool that you ask that, because I was wondering another question. Like, don't fairies fly? They don't need shoes, right? Technically.
Well, I thought they were cobbling for humans. I thought they were, but I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Okay. We're going to end up with more questions than answers in this episode.
Okay, anyway, continue. Sorry.
Because we have no idea. I have no idea. Anyway, it says that that's their profession within the fairy world. And because they are hard workers, they are usually depicted alongside a pot of gold. So I'm guessing they're rich? So, over the years, people in Ireland and around the world developed a common depiction of leprechauns, which are basically old men dressed in green hats and green suits, sometimes seen smoking a pipe. Earlier drawings of these people also showed them wearing red, but we have settled with green, probably because of just how popular the color is within Ireland. Like, I think the Irish love green.
I was reading that I'm not supposed to wear green to a wedding because it'll attract the attention of the fae. That's like a cultural thing. So I was like, well, fuck, what am I going to wear? I still don't know. Actually, I think I'm just going to wear a suit. I'm just going to wear like a gray suit. So that's my move. Anyway, continue.
Traditionally, leprechauns are often told to possess gold and they would hide them at the end of the rainbow. Oh, there's where the rainbow comes in. And if you want the pot of gold for yourself, you have to find them at the end of it. That's a trick, though, because there is no end of the rainbow. If you catch one, you become luckier. And you get 3 wishes granted. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either. That's exciting. But you gotta, like, capture a 3-foot tall man.
That'll make you a criminal.
Think about something that's 2 or 3 feet tall. You have to keep captive. Where are you gonna put him, in a sack?
All these stories we might be familiar with, right? Like, obviously, like, we know this stuff. Like, oh, leprechauns, they look like this, they're green. I think they're a little bit eerie, a little bit creepy. And that's because of the sightings, like, and also that movie with the leprechaun that just, to me, just turned it creepy. But now, like, there's been more reports of sightings of the leprechaun population.
Oh, weird.
And there are theories that are popping up about this, that, they say, can they actually be real beings still hiding in the forests and in caves? I mean, it's possible, right? But I think one of the most interesting theories was the one that they mentioned in one of these articles that said that they were being trapped, where leprechauns were actually being captured and displayed around the world. And some of them managed to escape, and they go into hiding because of it.
Huh.
Yeah. So based on that idea, we ended up researching all this stuff. And we found some other encounters and more websites and just a ton of things about these sightings. One of them, England, Liverpool, 1964, Jubilee Park. People began reporting that leprechauns have been lurking around an area known as Bowling Greens. People describe them being just a few inches up to a few feet tall, with beards, bushy eyebrows, and green coats.
Okay. A few inches I'm more intrigued by as opposed to like feet.
One of these witness accounts said that around 4:30 p.m. in early July 1964, he was on his way to play football when he saw tiny creatures, men, dressed in red and black, simply looking at him while they stood in the grass.
Why is that the worst? I don't know. That is just like they're just staring at him?
Yep.
Ew.
Yeah, creepy. And the boy, being only 10 years old at the time, ran all the way home.
Mom. There's tiny men staring at me.
Imagine you're
grass.
the parent.
Mom. Mom.
His mother told him that leprechauns had been spotted. Instead of saying, "I don't believe you," she was like, "Leprechauns have been spotted on Jubilee Drive and Edge Lane the day before." So she knew. She just creeped out the kid even more.
Why were they watching him? I mean, are they... What's wrong with... Are they perverts too? I don't understand.
Then crowds of people showed up to the location to try and see the creatures for themselves. So the news spread. Oh man. So yeah, it's hilarious. Like, it's like, what? In another account, a person speaks of her friend named Susan, who claimed that she had seen a leprechaun in the hallway of her room the previous night. She had been sleeping when she heard rustling noises outside in the hall. She got out of bed to peek around the corner, and that's when she saw a small man of approximately 2 feet in height, in dirty clothes with red hair.
No, a ginger. Oh, God.
Oh, man. She made an emphasis to say that it did not look like the leprechaun on the Lucky Charms box.
Okay.
Many years later, the person who wrote about her friend Susan believes that the creature had not been a leprechaun, but rather a type of a creature known as Tommyknockers.
What's a Tommyknocker doing out of a cave? Tommyknockers live in mines.
Yeah, I mean, the story took place in Pennsylvania, which they have a lot of mines. And stuff like that, coal mining and stuff. And these creatures are described as being dirty and looking like little men with reddish hair. There had been many more stories of strange encounters on the website mysteriousuniverse.org, which is where we found a lot of this info. Anyway.
Sounds legitimate to me.
Sounds legit.
I know, but also, like I'm laughing. I'm about to go to Ireland where people take this shit seriously. Like fae stuff, leprechaun stuff. That shit's real culturally. So, that belief generally makes stuff real.
When I was being asked a few questions about podcasting and all that stuff, and I brought up the first story I ever wrote for Scary Story Podcast, and it's about little people. It's about leprechauns. It's about duendes, what they call them in South America.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that story is called The Creatures of the Hills. And it's based on a true story, because I think I've said it, I've mentioned it a lot. I think I might have told you about it, but basically we were hiking. We're not even hiking. We're just walking, exploring around this town called Chinchero. And this is in the Andes Mountains in Peru, like in small towns. And if you ever it's part of the touristy area, in between the touristy areas. Anyway, so we wanted to see this lake, which we had no reason to want to see the lake. Just I guess we just wanted to take pictures or something. There were 3 of us there. And as we're walking, it's the sun starts setting. We're like, oh, we should probably get back, because we're not going to be able to get a bus back to the town. To the main town, which was a good distance away. Yeah. And as we're going up the hill, there's this guy, and he's kind of looking at us, and we're looking at him, and he waves at us, and we're like, okay. So we walk up to him, and he turns, his name was Eddie, and he told us that he was a potato farmer, and basically introduced us to his family. It was really chill. Invited us to eat after, like as in he said, come back like on this day and we'll cook something or whatever. Anyway, as we're leaving, he's like, oh, and watch out for the little people. And I was looking at him, just kind of like waiting for him to laugh. And he's looking at me like, what are you waiting for? And he's the one that kind of smiled and said, like, you don't believe in those, like, right? And like he said, he's like, you don't believe in those, like those things are real. We've seen them. So he kind of thought it was absurd that I didn't believe him. And he's like, yeah, they come from the mountains. Like they steal our animals sometimes. And we know it's them. We've seen them. Like they're there. Everybody. And then he just asked his wife, like, yeah, we've seen them, right? Like, yeah, they're out there. Just don't go out at night. We're like, what? By the way, if you look anywhere around you in that area, you'll just see just hills, just green, dark hills, and almost no houses. Like this is one of those types of towns. I mean, there's the town area, but then there's the hills, like the hills. Anyway, long story short, like as we're walking along, like I could just, like we were just like, do we look? Because we would hear noises. We're like, is this an animal? Is this a dog? We're just freaking out the whole time. But the whole leprechaun / duende thing recently played a role in a story, like the Spanish version of True Scary Story. And that's where I'm going to close the episode with. This guy, actually several times I've heard stories of little people. This guy, he's actually my girlfriend's uncle. He had this experience that I found hard to believe, but he's a trustworthy guy. Like he wouldn't be he's a very serious person. Like he wouldn't make this stuff up. Like I was surprised he let me record him. And he tells a story of he used to work in the coastal areas of Ecuador and above a jewelry store. Gold, like gold, right? Yeah. And this building had several floors, and they had like housing, like units to sleep, like, like an apartment type of thing. And he was staying there. One night he's looking out and he sees this little person with the hat just smiling and jumping around. Like he's
weird.
Just like dancing around. And he just goes towards a closet and just vanishes. Like he just disappears, hides behind it. He's like, what is this? Like, what the heck? And he brings it up to people and he's like, yeah, like, and they tell him like, oh yeah, like we've seen him too. Like we've seen him around. And a second time he saw him, actually, it might've been the same time, but he described it. He was describing another, like in the same unit, same apartment, but a different occasion. He was with somebody else, like with his girlfriend or whatever, in that room. It was late. She was asleep. He was asleep. And he needed to go use the bathroom. And when he turned around, he saw the same little person with the hat, just dressed in colorful clothing, just like looking at him, like smiling and trying to dance and like tap away or whatever. And
why did that give me chills just now? I don't know why
it's bizarre. Like, I get chills thinking of that stuff too. Because it's like,
Ugh.
This could be real, Michelle. Like, this could be real. Like Bigfoot.
Yeah, just like Bigfoot and his boobs.
Her boobs.
Or his boobs. We don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, there was this other story in the English version of that. That story is called, I think it's called The Smell of Death. And this guy, he tells me a series of stories. And he also has an experience with this, with a leprechaun, basically, like a duende, a goblin, or like a little creature. And the way he described him, it's the most, like I got chills when he was telling me, because he said it was like a joker, like a jester. Like he said, like this thing had the bells at the, in his hat, dressed in colorful clothes, and he's just dancing around, smiling and laughing his way out of the room. And oh my, And just now, Michelle, when I was recording, I don't know if you saw me just kind of turn this way. Like, okay, this stuff has happened in this house, and we've all seen stuff. And when things disappear, the first thing they say, "This is a duende. This is a leprechaun. This is
funny,
a goblin. Something's here," because they're jokesters like that. Like they'll hide your stuff and then laugh about it or whatever. And things have gone missing. And found in really weird places. And I'm not joking here. My girlfriend lost her Apple Watch a while back, and it was found in the waffle maker inside of a.
No, not in a waffle.
Inside of a like where you store pans that you don't use. There. Yeah. What the heck? How?
Wow! What a little sneaky snake. Jeez. Oh my God.
But anyway, so you're going to Ireland.
I'm going to Ireland. Land of the Fae.
I think you should just catch a leprechaun and get your wishes.
I'm pro wishes. You know I am. I just don't know how to store a leprechaun. Like, how do you put him on a leash? If you know how to store a leprechaun, please write in, especially before next week, because that's when I'm going to Ireland and obviously need some guidance before I go. Would you put him on a leash? Would you store him? Would you tie him up with some rope?
What do they eat?
I don't know. Lucky Charms, maybe? Chocolate candies? chocolate coins?
Anyway, all these sightings of leprechauns, you might see something there, Michelle. You might.
Maybe.
It's possible.
I mean, I will be wandering the countryside. So.
Jeez. Oh, man. So anyway, that concludes the leprechaun presentation. We will now leave Leprechaunia and back to the real world.
Leprechaunia. Leprechaunia. What, you don't know the anthem to Leprechaunia?
No, I'm just learning it. Now.
What kind of patriot are you?
Not a good one, I guess. So, what are we going to talk about next week, Michelle?
I don't know, but I think it'll be a surprise. Bye, guys.
Bye.